Hello, handsome ladies and beautiful gentlemen. Welcome to the 2018 annual debate where we will be discussing a hot topic in the media. This topic is allegedly a collusion between Russia and President Donald Trump. First, we should define the term collusion. What does collusion mean? Well, according to Google definition, collusion is secret or illegal cooperation or conspiracy, especially in order to cheat or deceive others. The reason this topic is so controversial is because, especially in the United States, is because Donald Trump actually won the election. Thus, the Democratic Party believes that through Russia's hacking of the election, some Democrats believe that Donald Trump actually hired Russian hackers to hack into the Democratic Party. So over the past year, several committees have been investigating this matter to further prove Trump's guilt or innocence. The two people debating are my homie Matthew and my essay John Jackson. So gentlemen, could you please explain your stances on this matter?
Go.
My name is Hillary Clinton. I believe that this nation was terrorized by the Russian hackers that changed our nation's destiny. I find it my duty to inform the public about this very serious breach in our country's right to have a fair election.
My opinion, the correct opinion on the topic, is that there was never any direct collusion between myself and the Russian government. I am sure of this because there is no evidence whatsoever to prove that Russia helped me in the election. Plus, I think I would know. There have been multiple investigations into this topic and none of them have found any substantial evidence of me directly colluding with Russia, despite what some may think.
From what news source are you two individuals getting this information from?
Well, funny you asked. I got my news from CNN and BBC. Those are among the most reliable news sources out there.
I got my news from The Hill. I am highly educated. I know words. I make deals. I use my fantastic words to make fantastic deals. It's fantastic. I make fantastic deals because I wrote The Art of the Deal. Great book, by the way. Go.
The bias is strong with this one.
Why choose to side with these sources if you said that the bias is strong with that one?
Of course there is bias in these articles. All media is biased. But the purpose of this debate is to explain our stances on this matter as well as the bias techniques the media uses to persuade the audience to one side or another. Even though I will win this debate big league, not small league, not middle league, big league, through the use of my tremendous hand gestures and electrifying words.
Okay, so now that's out of the way, can each of you tell me what the strongest form of bias in each of your article, and then explain how it is the most effective?
Oh.
Sure. In one of my sources, CNN, the bias of Trump being backed by Russia was used by presenting what we Democrats believed was true by presenting what we Democrats believe is evidence. It's evidence. But if you take a closer look at the evidence, you will see that it's nothing but theories. This is most effective because although CNN is saying that they are presenting facts, they really aren't, and can trick the untrained eye. My eye can see everything. I saw what was happening in Benghazi way before it even happened. I didn't fix it because I was watching NCIS. Couldn't miss a new episode.
What's NCIS?
In one of my sources, an article from The Hill, the strongest form of bias is selection and omission. In the article, the author, Jonathan Turley, picks evidence that strongly supports his side, but picks weak evidence that disagrees with him. For the evidence that supports his side, which is completely factual and logical, He explains it very deeply and conveys a very logical and reasonable argument. However, when he talks about the opposing side, he uses very insubstantial evidence that he knows is not strong enough to prove me guilty of this alleged collusion with the Russian government. He then explains just how illogical this evidence is in order to prove that the other side is incorrect, and he does this very, very well. This is effective because the reader is able to see both sides of the issue, but since one is perceived to be a stronger and more reliable view, they will be persuaded that it is the truth. If one side is so much more logical than the other, then of course the reader will perceive that side to be the actual truth, even though the whole picture may not be there. This is called logos. I know this because I am educated. I am rich. I am rich because I am educated. Many may call me mentally deranged, such as Rocket Man, Crooked Hillary, Pocahontas, Lying Ted, Crazy Bernie, Nasty Jeb, and Little Marco. It's Rubio. No. Go.
Can each of you provide evidence from your article that exemplifies your explanations?
Yes. One such quote from my article is, moreover, members of Congress like Representative Adam Schiff from California have cited the infamous Trump Tower meeting with Russians as evidence of collusion. Those contacts, however, fall far short of any evidence of collusion and can actually be used to counter such allegations. I just took the two sentences where the author contradicts the evidence, but there was more outlined evidence before the specific quote began. Okay.
So, just from the article you are quoting, what is the strongest argument for each of your sides?
Strongest argument you make is evidence. My article contains evidence there being a Russian hacker involved in the U.S. election. A detailed timeline was provided. There was a beginning, middle, and end. The source said Mr. Trump sacked Mr. Corney, that year, while he was leading an FBI investigation into allegations of Russian interference in the 2016 presidential election. Trump told the FBI director that he should drop the investigation. Don't you think that is a bit suspicious? The argument that this quote is putting forth is that while Trump claims he took no part in the collusion with the Russian government, this quote shows that he was clearly cautious about an inquiry into this matter. Doesn't this appear to be suspicious? Just like my role in Benghazi?
The strongest point for my article is that there is no serious evidence that absolutely proves my guilt, even though there's the possibility that it exists. And the Democrats are obsessing over nothing, which is the curious incident Turtle Johnny alluded to. Of course, there is George Papadopoulos' conversation with the Australian High Commissioner to the UK, where the High Commissioner said that the Russian government had emails from Crooked Hillary's campaign. Johnny even said that Russia was trying to cultivate Curious George, one of my campaign advisors, as if he's a type of plant. However, while this contact does show that Russia had some relationship with someone from my campaign, Curious George's actions aren't related to mine in any way. Either way, he hid those contacts from anyone, so it wasn't collusion, because collusion, according to Google, is secret, which this wasn't. I would like to share the same view as Jonathan Turtle when he concludes the article by saying, "That is why I am skeptical. It takes willful blindness not to acknowledge either the lack of direct evidence of collusion or the implausibility of many of the theories abounding on cable news programs."
Do you have any other evidence that supports your viewpoints?
Yes, I do. Let me fetch it out of my computer where I sent the emails to Russia. I never sent anything, but let's keep going. I get my sources from BBC and CNN. A reporter from BBC said, and I quote, "The U.S. intelligence agencies previously concluded Moscow had tried to sway the election in Mr. Trump's favor. The evidence provided by a highly respectable and reliable source, meaning it must be true. The same source also says U.S. intelligence officials said they believe, high confidence, that Russia had been behind the operation, but the Trump campaign publicly refused to accept the findings. Now keep in mind, the FBI director said that, so it ought to be good.
Yes, in fact, I do. The next source is from Al Jazeera, which is usually not so friendly to me, but today they have finally decided to report news like it should be, by praising me. You see, in this article, the headline is U.S. Intelligence Committee probe finds no Trump-Russia collusion. In this article, they cited the report that investigated me, which said, in the course of witness interviews, reviews of document productions, and investigative efforts extending well over a year, the committee did not find any evidence of collusion, conspiracy, or coordination between the Trump campaign and the Russians. However, Democrats have challenged this report and said that Republicans on this committee took an inadequate approach to the investigation. The Democrats just don't want to admit that they have been wasting their time with this useless investigation. It is a total witch hunt, as I once declared in one of my glorious tweets. Crooked Hillary even paid for research into me and my dealings, and she tried to obscure her role in this, according to this article. Due to all this evidence, it is obvious that I never directly colluded with Russia. The FBI and fake news media just wants to bury me. They hate so much, they can't even see straight.
Now, would you like to conclude your statements and crystallize your arguments?
Of course, I always deserve to speak, as my words are tremendously fantastic and should be heard by everyone. So obviously the liberal fake news media is so disillusioned when they report on the most fake news I have ever seen. Multiple articles support this viewpoint, and a year-long investigation proves that I haven't directly colluded with the Russian government in any way. Even the fake news media has to admit that there is no logical evidence against me, and that I am a model citizen and everyone should be just like me. Rich, educated, having the best words, making the best deals, having fantastic assets, the whole enchilada.
Of course, I'm the most innocent and I deserve more freedoms. I am trying to say that Republican news is the worst news. They won't even admit that there was a Russian collusion involved. Basically what I'm trying to say is that Republican news is like a tomato. Sure, people say it's a fruit, but is it really? The truth is, it is not. It is equivalent to a vegetable and does not belong in a fruit salad.
Thank you very much, everybody.